Welcome to The Explainer. You've probably seen a dozen different AI headlines this week, right? Well, today, we're going to connect those dots. We're weaving them into one single clear story about the technology that is absolutely reshaping our world, from the biggest companies on the planet right down to your couch.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to follow AI's journey, starting with the massive corporate battles happening up in the cloud. Then, we'll see how it's actually showing up at your job. And finally, we'll look at how it's impacting your personal life and our very sense of what's real.
And we're going to start at the very top. I'm talking about a handful of tech giants in this all-out sprint to build, own, and, control the future of intelligence itself. This isn't just about a new product. This is a war for the platform that's going to define the next decade.
The main event right now pits two absolute behemoths against each other. In one corner, you've got Google, and their new Gemini 3 models are surging. Their power comes from this massive full-stack advantage. I mean, they make the chips, they own the search engine, and they have billions of users. In the other corner, you have OpenAI, which still has incredible brand power and this deeply loyal community of developers building on their platform.
And make no mistake, this is not some polite corporate competition. We've actually got leaked internal memos from OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, that reveal this really gritty comeback mentality. He's acknowledging that Google's momentum is real, but he's basically rallying his troops, framing it as a temporary setback they're absolutely poised to overcome.
And all this drama, it's making Wall Street totally freak out. There's this real sense of panic. I mean, think about it. A company like Nvidia, which makes the essential chips for this whole revolution, can post these monster earnings and their stock still takes a hit because investors are terrified. Everyone's asking the same question. Is this an AI bubble about to pop, or are we at the start of something massive, a super cycle?
But okay, despite all that Wall Street nervousness, here's the reality check. The actual money being poured into this is just staggering. We're talking global spending on AI projected to hit $500 billion by 2026. That kind of cash suggests this is a fundamental shift, not just a bunch of speculative hype.
Okay, so with all that money pouring in, where's it going? What's actually being built? Let's move from that abstract tech war into the real world, into the practical tools that are already changing how business gets done. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi stuff. It is happening in offices right now.
The key concept you absolutely need to get your head around is this thing called agentic AI. This is a huge leap, okay? We're moving away from AI as just a passive tool, like a calculator or a search engine, to AI as an autonomous colleague. It's an AI that doesn't just give you an answer, it actually takes action on your behalf to get something done.
And this is a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. Just look at how Microsoft's new security agents work. They can spot a potential threat, classify it, quarantine it, and then escalate it to a human, all in a matter of seconds. This whole process used to take a human team a significant amount of time, and now it's automated by an AI agent.
And it's not just security, not by a long shot. This agentic model is popping up everywhere. I mean, get this. Customer service agents from a company called Sierra, they're already generating $100 million in revenue. Over at IBM, these autonomous agents are resolving 70% of all service tickets. Developers are even getting their code reviewed by AI. I mean, across the board, these agents are becoming the new digital workforce.
So here's the real takeaway. The race isn't just about who has the smartest model. The real bottleneck, the thing holding companies back, is trust. Right? Businesses are dying to use this powerful tech on the most sensitive data, but only if they can guarantee airtight security, privacy, and governance. The company that solves that problem, they're the ones who win.
All right, let's bring this all back home. We're shifting gears from the corporate world right into your living room. Because this new wave of AI gadgets is coming, and trust me, it's set to change not just what we do, but how we think.
Yeah, people are calling it the AI Christmas, and it really is this flood of new consumer gadgets that promise a future of ambient AI. We're talking about an Alexa that doesn't even need a wake word anymore, smart glasses that see what you see, and even these little pendants that listen to your entire day to give you advice. AI is basically becoming this constant, always-on listening companion.
But all this incredible convenience, it forces us to ask a really important question. As these tools make our lives easier, more seamless, what are we losing in the process? Is there a hidden cost?
And you know what? We're already starting to get some pretty startling answers. New research from a top-tier journal suggests that learning from chatbots can lead to a more generic, and get this, less factual understanding. It makes sense when you think about it, right?
When you use a search engine, you have to compare sources. You have to synthesize information. That builds real, deep knowledge. A chatbot just hands you a neat little summary, and that can lead to much more passive, shallow learning.
So what's the response? Well, we're seeing a huge shift in education. The focus is moving away from just teaching students how to write a clever prompt. Instead, schools are starting to teach them how to build with AI, to really understand the ethics, the security, and the design principles behind these incredibly powerful systems.
And all of this, it leads us to our final and maybe the most profound section of all, this growing societal struggle to just tell the difference between what a human created and what a machine generated, and what that means for, well, all of us.
You know, for the longest time, the whole debate around AI and copyright has been pretty theoretical, pretty abstract. Well, that's changing fast. It's now becoming a data-driven investigation into what these models actually memorize and spit back out from the copyrighted stuff they were trained on.
Researchers have developed this new technique that's, well, it's dramatically better. We're talking nearly 80% more effective at proving when an AI model has just memorized and is repeating copyrighted content. This gives creators real, hard data to bring to the table in courtrooms and boardrooms. The conversation is shifting from what if to here's the proof.
So this authenticity crisis has basically created two very different camps trying to solve the problem. On one side, you've got these proof-of-personhood systems, basically trying to certify content as human-made the second it's created. And on the other side, you have platforms like Pinterest, who are just giving users tuners so you can dial down how much AI-generated stuff you see.
And you know, we're even seeing this really fascinating cultural pushback emerge. There's a growing movement, especially with younger folks, who are choosing to just opt out of AI tools completely. They're calling themselves AI vegans, and they're citing everything from ethical and environmental worries to concerns about creativity.
And this leaves us with one final kind of haunting thought. As AI gets better and better at mimicking humanity in its voice, in its art, in its writing, how are we going to prove that we're real? In a world filled with fakes, the most valuable thing might just be proof of our own authenticity.